you guys.
We're back.
We're back. What'd you do on your vacation?
Nothing. It was a sick vacation. That's what happened.
Poor Adam. Are you
Yeah.
allowed to tell us what your illness was?
It was the COVID. I finally got it after 2 years.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man.
That's
And I
no
wasn't
fun.
as excited as I'm sounding now. But
I'm
no,
sure.
it was a bad cold that I carried through, and glad to be back with you, girls.
Were you but when you got the news that it was like, were you a bit scared? You know what I mean? Or just
No, because funny enough, I got the news. I tested 3 times, and by the time I tested for the third, the first 2 results were negative. So by the time I tested for the 3rd time, I barely had any symptoms left.
oh, okay.
Oh, cool.
I was like, okay, well, I've
Well,
already made it through.
I think
Okay.
that's what's going to happen. I think we're all going to get it
Yeah.
at some point, and if you're vaccinated, the symptoms won't be as harsh.
It was a normal cold. Won't recommend it, but hey,
Yeah.
So
Well,
because
every
of your
time-
illness, we missed Kelly's birthday show.
we did. I'm so sorry. Happy birthday.
Yeah, but you both texted me on my birthday, so I appreciated that. Thank you.
Kel, you're at like a solid number too, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, divisible
Solid-
by
solid
5.
round number. Yeah.
Nice.
You know who actually texted me very early on in the day?
Who's that?
Your sister.
She's good that way.
She was
She's
like
good
a
in
rock
many
star.
ways.
Yeah, she Sister Debbie sent me like, I think it was like 10 o'clock or something, and I was like, Sister Debbie is on fire. Like, wished me a happy birthday before some of my family members.
Nice.
So like that was very good. Yeah.
I like to carry the vibes throughout the day. So everywhere I went, and my thing is that I get back in the car and I'm like, okay, I'll text when I get to home or the next stop or whatever. And then I get to the next stop and it's like, yeah, like, I don't even know what I'm doing. So I feel like I took you through my whole day.
Yeah. I did, because when did you text me? Like 10
Yeah.
p.m.
Which is
Yeah,
the equivalent of
texted
midnight.
pretty late also.
Yeah.
You get to celebrate long after your birthday. The
I
festival
ate
shall
cake again
continue.
today. Like, I'm still eating cake. So that's fine.
You got to do what you got to do. You're really taking it for the team.
I actually should send you a picture. So my cake was, last thing about my birthday, then we'll gladly move on. My better half had taken a picture of me last summer with me and my 2 doggies.
Yeah.
And so she took that picture to the bakery and they made a replica of me and the 2 doggies.
Wow.
Like because the picture was me with them on the grass, like near my grandma's flowers
Yeah.
at the farm. And so that's what was going on. And it was so cute. But the best part is, like, when I open up the cake, like, I had obviously no idea that this was, happening when they brought the cake to me. But all of a sudden I see, like, my figurine, like the right arm is hanging off a bit, like in the picture. And so I go to her, I'm like, because I know the bakery, right? Like, it's my friend Natalie from LaSalle Bakery. And if you're ever in Montreal, that's where you should go. And so I said to Elaine, I said, there is no way in hell that Natalie would have let you leave the bakery with my arm hanging off like her cake. And then she goes, I'm sorry. I had slam on the brakes on the 13 when I was driving home.
Oh my.
So my right arm and the figurine was like hanging off. Yeah, and then one of the dog's ears had fallen off also. So,
Well, you
poor
know,
Elaine.
the good news is that it was the cake and that you weren't actually in the car for the
Yeah.
slamming of the brakes.
anyways, Elaine can never get away with bad driving, because I always find out this time it was because my fake figurine arm was hanging off.
Just hanging there by a fake thread.
Yep.
Well, we've got a pretty decent sized show today. And I'd like, off the top, you hate to come off of birthday vibes and talk about sadness, but off the top, I think that I'd like to send condolences to the families of Taylor Hawkins and the Foo Fighters. That the sad news that by the time the show gets to the people will have been over a week later. And there will likely have been more news or a statement at that point. But right now we're just sort of still trying to figure out what the heck, man.
Mm-hmm.
Just such a vital, young, energetic, excellent drummer. And may Taylor Hawkins rest in beats, as other drummers were wishing him.
Mm-hmm.
Just
The
amazing.
thing that I took away, well, obviously the whole thing is terrible, but the one thing that I thought was super interesting in the social media messages that went out from like Steven Tyler of Aerosmith, like Brian May, like all these different people was I can't believe he knew everybody. Like, it just seems like he knew everybody. And then was that even like a Steven Tyler, who obviously is like rock god, all the messages were just like what a lovely person Taylor was. Like, that was the overall vibe, was just, he was like all these different rock stars who could not care about anybody if they didn't want to, legitimately loved him as a person.
Yeah, I think that's the whole aura of the Foo Fighters. It's a family of brothers that, you know, that do things, that they're not closed off, that they're not, you know, better than anybody else. They're active participants in their communities, and in the community of rock, they're just so accessible. So it's really cool. I was kind of in disbelief for most of the weekend, like, this can't be happening. Or it can't have happened, you know? And that seemed to be the overall vibe for anything on social that I read too. So
do you, because I know they're only speculating at this point, but do we know that he had a drug abuse problem in the past, or?
He's had some, I think, I know, well, he was in a coma a number of years ago, where Dave Grohl sort of sat bedside until he came to. And I don't know that it was a problem by definition, or if it was just something that he managed. Maybe there was this, like, at this point, what we knew was that there was a number of drugs in his system, and that could have been pain management, you know?
Yeah.
Certainly I think marijuana was one of them, and, you know, that's not illegal anymore.
Yeah.
And I think to keep the schedule that the Foo Fighters have, whether it's back-to-back shows or just one show, to be able to execute one show like that requires, I think, a presence that I'm just hopeful that it wasn't, you know, more of a problem.
I hope this also wasn't sort of like just, again, another sad case of overdosing by accident, or, you know, something like that. Like, just terrible.
Yeah. Well, so our hearts go out to the families of his family, and to the family of the Foo Fighters, and to everybody that was touched by his energy.
Before you move on, because obviously we all know that, you know, Dave Grohl is your rock star boyfriend, and like Foo are very important to you. Do you think they will go on?
You know what? I've been thinking about that, and I think it could go either way. Like, I'm at this point in my life where, like, it's almost like you can't say anything conclusive, and you're not going to be surprised by anything. I think that I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't go on, and I wouldn't be surprised if they did.
Okay.
I can see it possibly moving forward and having like a rotating series of drummers for the shows that they've got booked.
Well, they canceled all shows of this upcoming year. They've just announced it earlier today.
Okay. Well, there you go. So
all
like
shows
they've canceled like all that stuff.
Okay, so there you go. Well, that answers the immediate. How they're going to move forward, I guess they're just going to have to take their time. This is certainly not new territory for Dave Grohl, you know, to lose a bandmate.
Yeah.
But I think that the relationship with him and Taylor Hawkins was kind of like best friends and brothers, in fact, you know. So I don't know. I just don't know.
Yeah.
But we're hopeful, you know, that they'll be able to move on in the best possible way for themselves, because it's a huge part of their family that's gone. So let's talk about movies.
Yeah.
How do you segue out of that, right?
Do we segue into trivia out of that?
Well, you know what? I just would like to say just a few little teasers about what we've got on the show today.
Do it.
One is, in fact, an actual tease on the Scream 6 movie, while the fifth one's still new. Also, who had to cut it out to get himself on a better path? That was a tease. You like that?
Sharon, you are a rock star.
We've got another drummer in the news. I'm basically giving away my own tease by saying which member of Aerosmith will not be playing with the band in Vegas. Of course, Kelly's Trivia, a 90s rewind.
Whoa! 90s now trivia.
Bing bong.
Bing bong.
New cards this week, a blue and an orange one. Watch out.
Ooh, gosh.
We'll start with the heady one, which is news and politics, the blue card. Yeah, so we'll see if you
is
get
it
this one.
news
In
or politics?
1996, which telescope took photos of Pluto's surface for the first time
Adam.
ever? Oh, Adam.
I will go with the Hubble telescope.
Way to go, Adam.
I like it.
Are you like a space junkie?
I wanted to be an astronaut when I was younger,
Neato.
but that was a while back.
You got
That was-
close.
That was
You're
actually
in
in
radio.
the 90s.
I get nauseous if a GoPro's too much. So like I can't, like there's no way I can, like
No, me neither.
Elaine and I were watching something a couple weeks ago where it was like a motorcycle guy and he had like the GoPro on, but he was like moving a lot before he took off. And I was like, too much.
Yeah, I can't do it either.
To be fair, the Hubble telescope is the only telescope I know. So
Well, good guess, Adam. All right. So now we're going to the fun orange card.
Yay.
Let's see. Oh, this is a good one. Which dope toy from the late 90s had the slogan, "Let's have fun?" Question mark.
Adam.
Adam,
Looks
you
like
look
it's
like
painting you.
like you're pained.
The light bright.
Oh, that's a good guess. It is not though.
Let's have fun.
Sharona.
Hmm.
Question mark.
Uh,
Well, actually,
bop
I
it.
just realized that the question mark was actually the question mark of the
Oh,
Okay.
let's have fun. Is it oh. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Is it bop it?
What is that?
Awesome.
You hit things?
You bop it, you pull it.
Oh,
you
yeah.
twist it. You then it. There's a bunch of different actions that you have to do as they're telling you to do it. In
Yes.
this,
Oh,
it's totally addictive and like mind numbing at the same time because you want to get a streak going and it's going bop it, hit it, slap it, twist it, and you have to do it. Oh my God. It's super fun, but honestly, you want to throw it across the room too.
Clearly not the answer to the question, though.
good to know.
Clearly
The
not.
answer to the question is the Furby.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
I could have guessed that.
I wouldn't
I
have
would've-
ever guessed that.
I would have never remembered that. I knew there was a Furby. Did not know that that was it though.
Doesn't even sound like fun. So what
No.
a misleading question that was.
Do you remember, Sharon? This would have been in like, I feel like Adam would have been too young, but like maybe, like we'll say like 87, 88-ish. I remember
Yes.
being like 8 or 9 years old, and there was like I remember I got it for Easter this one particular year. It was a ball that had, it almost looked like a planet, like because it was like a ball with like a plastic sauce around it,
Yeah.
and you would put your 2 feet on it and you could jump
Yes.
around on it.
Yeah.
And like it was super, like I was addicted to this thing. It was great exercise. You didn't know that, of course, as an 8-year-old, but I can't remember the name of that thing. But it was like all the rage that summer was like
I
to
don't know what
jump
it's
around on
called
the
either.
saucer thing.
But it's super cool and totally great exercise. It's like a Bosu ball.
Yeah,
now.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Let's bring it back.
I got a few scrapes on the old knee.
No doubt.
Yeah. Because if
Does
you
it go
miss your
blind?
shot, over you,
Really,
over
was
you
it called,
go.
was it called a Pogo Ball?
Maybe.
It looks like Saturn.
Like it looks like Saturn. I have a
Yeah.
picture here. It's called the Pogo Ball.
Nice.
I wish I could get my hands on one of those again. Mine was like a bright blue ball with a bright pink like rim around it. Like
yeah.
I love that thing. And I used it for years. I thought it was amazing. And then teenage land came and that was it.
I hear you. I was in the clubs when you were pogo
Yeah.
balling, Kel.
In your white hammer pants. Were they white, Sharon? Did we have
They
a-
were white.
Okay.
Awful. White's not even a flattering color,
No.
especially not on the bottom.
Is there a picture anywhere of this?
There has to be somewhere.
Please find it. This is season 10 of our show and you have yet to find this picture.
God, those hammer pants. There was just like a lot. I think knowing nothing about sewing, I think I could make hammer pants just because they were like just a lot of material and a waistband and 2 things for your ankles and then just fabric.
Yeah. Did you roll up the bottom? Because my sister had a pair where it was like super baggy and then it came down to a tighter kind of like
Oh,
fit
I know
around
what
the
you're
ankle.
talking about. You're talking about Jodhpurs.
Oh, is that
Are you
what?
not? They're like riding pants. Is that what kind of? Yeah, I had those too. So hot.
The name is even the hottest part
Oh
of it all.
yeah. Oh my gosh, are those new Jodhpurs you're wearing? You bet. Oh God. Oh,
Oh, the early
Anyways.
90s. So great.
oh, fashion.
Yeah. My dad used to say to her, like, 'cause I think she spent like 80 or $100 on these jeans, right? Like at the time.
Yeah.
And my dad, I never forget, because my sister's super tiny, right? Like she's always been in shape. She's a marathoner, the whole thing. She comes into the house like with these pants on, and like my dad said to her, "Did you poop your pants?" Like
Well,
It's exactly the look you're going for.
she's like, "No, daddy, but that's what I'm going for." So it was good. I thought they were the coolest thing ever. Like I thought she looked cool. Cause like, especially when you're
Yeah.
little, she kind of was like, she predated TLC by a little bit. Know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like by like a year and a half, maybe.
Yeah,
Cause
yeah.
this would have been like 1990. Yep.
That's cool. Hey,
Yeah.
well, speaking of poop in your pants,
uh-oh.
watch your step. Courteney Cox excited about the next installment of the newly revisited Scream series. So that's still happening, but she's been quoted as saying, "I got the script yesterday. I haven't read it yet. I just got it. I'm excited to read it. And I know they're going to start filming in June in Canada." And then she went on to say, "I don't know if I'm supposed to say anything." Too late, Courtney. The jig is up. But
God,
then
sounds
she
like
teased.
Phoebe from Friends, like letting it out of the cat out of the bag.
Yeah. Then she said, "Let me tell you the killer." I think the fact that we know who the killer isn't, at least because of three of them now. We talked a couple of weeks ago about Nev Campbell also being talking about having been contacted about Scream 6. And I think David Arquette as Dewey is part of these plans also. So it really kind of gives away at least who didn't get it in Scream number 5. But I would imagine that it's probably still worth the watch.
I haven't seen it yet. You haven't seen it yet? Scream 5?
I haven't either.
Did you?
I really
loved
enjoyed the other
it.
ones. Did you
Adam
love it?
It was the first Scream I saw. I've never seen 1 through 4. That was the first one I saw. It was amazing.
Oh, cool. You totally have to watch the other ones, at least the first 3.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if
I
I saw
will.
4.
One day. Apparently the 4th one wasn't that good. Was it that one that wasn't great?
I think so.
Yeah.
The other one, the first 2, I thought normally you have a Scream and it was so clever.
Oh,
And
the
then-
5th
and
one
then-
is it's clever, it's funny, it jokes about Scream like
Oh,
it jokes
cool.
about the older movies, and it's just really well done.
Oh, nice. Okay, I'll look forward
Yeah,
to that.
highly recommend it.
Mind you, I get scared way easier now and things stay in my head longer. So I'm not
It's
sure if I
not
actually
even
will see it.
scary. It's always the same scare jump. You know it's coming. You know he's gonna someone's gonna open the fridge and then
Right.
the door's gonna close and
In that movie though,
That was
because I haven't watched, I think I only saw the first one. I can't remember. Do they show like death and destruction, or is it implied?
Both.
Oh, really?
But it's like it's gory to a point where it's acceptable almost.
yeah,
Okay.
It's not excessively
it's-
gory.
cartoony.
Yeah.
Okay. Because
Yeah.
I think Sharon, you and I have talked about this many times. Like, I'm not a fan of seeing like ridiculousness. Like, I'm
Yeah.
more of like the implied, like, oh, okay, we know it didn't work out. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
like, I don't need like this going on.
Yeah, totally. Did you guys ever see Get Out?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, that was great.
Holy moly, that was like
That's
we had-
that's a whole other different kind of movie. That's pure
mind
horror
gaming.
movie. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
that was great.
But that for us, we didn't know anything about it except that it was getting great attention. So I had no idea about the story. So when we watched it, we were like 5 or 10 minutes in where something starts to go, down a path, let's say. And I got a chill from the top of my head down my spine into my feet, like sort of like, oh my God, what is happening? Like it was, again, going in completely like, this is gonna be good. Everybody's talking about how good it is. And I was like, oh my God.
Did you know it was a horror movie?
I don't think we did.
Oh God! You're
So-
you're in for quite a ride.
Oh my God. No kidding. It was so good though, but like so good that it affected you,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So
You know what's crazy is my niece and nephew have been brought up by like, because my sister's just like whatever, like lets them watch not everything, but you know what I mean. Like they've been into horror movies because my sister's a big horror movie fan. So like so I laugh that my nephew and my niece are braver than I am. They're like, I saw the band, and I'm like, what? Like,
Yep. Oh man. Well, you guys, did you get my reference before when I talked about someone having to cut it out? Cut it out.
yeah.
That's Dave Coulier's signature
Mm.
Cut it out.
Mhm.
Anywho, he's cut out the booze and the partying. The
Bro-
lovable Joey from Full House. Did he make it onto Fuller House? I never watched.
Yeah, I believe he did. Mhm.
Okay, so Full and Fuller House.
Mhm.
He's now speaking out about dealing with his alcoholism and what helped him get clean. And I imagine the face planting on the golf course that rendered his face all smashed up was a good starting point, realizing that he did in fact have a problem.
Mhm.
But what he says is that I thought, am I going to be able to make people laugh again? Are we going to have the same good times? This was, him looking at himself without alcohol, and clearly funny is funny. So and he's looking back and thinking that he's glad he got past all the hurdles. So it's still funny times for Dave Coulier, just
Mhm.
no alcohol.
I didn't know he had a problem because he's been sober for 2 years now, but I didn't know that there was a thing.
I didn't either. So what did he referred to himself as a functioning alcoholic, right? So
Yeah.
why would anybody know there's a problem?
Yeah.
I guess unless
No, but
you live with
even the
him.
fact that he's been in recovery because I think it's 2 years, right? I think that's what the article said.
Mhm.
It was 2 years.
Yeah.
It's interesting that we're only, and I mean, again, we have no right to know whether he is or is not in recovery, but it's interesting that he decided to talk about it now as opposed to, but maybe he wanted to make the 2 years, right? To sort of say like, there's a significant time period that's gone
And
by.
imagine the 2 years. Like, look at the two. That's a challenging 2 years anyways.
Mhm.
So good for him for making it happen.
It's
for
interesting how
himself.
some people like either went the other way during the pandemic or really got their stuff together during the pandemic.
I know people that actually did both. That
Oh, really?
sort of maybe went a little harder on wine with dinner. Like dinner starting at 3 kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yep.
And then realized within it all that some decisions had to be made, because I think when we were in it, we were sort of like, well, this is going to be just a few months, and then a few months turns into a year,
Mhm.
year and a half, 2 years, and we're still in it.
Yep.
For the fact that it's still out there. So our actions have to sort of keep up with. We're not just sitting at home, like we still have to work and we still have to do our stuff. So you still have to make choices that are healthy for yourself.
I think, I don't know, I'm speaking for me, but I'm assuming because the three of us are doing the same industry job, because I was going to work still, you know what I mean? Like we had
Yeah.
to be at the radio station. Like there was a sense of normalcy anyways through it. It wasn't normal being on the air though, especially that first couple of months, because like we're the fun station that I work for. And like,
Yeah.
there was nothing to talk about because there was no more TV shows being made. Like movies were being canceled. Like
Mhm.
anything that a pop station would have talked about was like, meh, like just not there. So
Yeah.
even looking back, sometimes I'm like, how did we even get through that and still try to be entertaining and like to make people, because I just wanted to make people feel like if I'm okay and I'm sounding okay in the air, I hope that makes you feel like your day's not abnormal.
Totally. I felt lucky, like fortunate to, be considered essential service, which was
Yep.
really cool.
Mhm.
And to have a change of like a distraction, the distraction of going to work. And then to be validated by listeners that were, have said and continue to say that, listening to the radio is
Mhm.
what got them through, to
Yeah.
have a voice, knowing that someone's there, that kind of thing, that kind of connection, whether it was, a text message or a phone call to the station or just listening, period. People really appreciated that. So
Yeah,
I felt
exactly.
makes you feel good. Who doesn't feel good? Well, he probably feels good with his decision, but Joey Kramer, drummer for Aerosmith, will not be playing Vegas when Aerosmith sets up shop there. And there's a bit of a history there in that he had some injuries a couple of years ago, so he wasn't able to make Vegas the first time. And now he's choosing to stay with his family during the uncertainty of COVID, which, no offense, he can make whatever decision he likes, but I'm not sure if we're in the uncertain section of COVID. I would imagine that was like 2 years ago, but the band made a statement saying, regrettably, that he's made the decision to sit out the band's concerts in 2022 so he can focus his full attention on his family during these uncertain times. He and the band look forward to his future performances with Aerosmith, end quote. So not entirely touchy-feely, warmy fuzzy. And maybe because there is history there where he did take some time and deal with his shoulder injury. And then there was a story where he wanted to get back in and they said, no, kind of wait till you're ready sort of thing.
Mhm.
But There's obviously more to
Yeah,
the
I think there's
story.
a precedent that has been set now. Like, and so it sounds like this is the we'll all get along statement.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you guys, do you think you might be ready for a 90s rewind?
Let's
Does it talk
do
about
it.
your hammer pants?
They are always implied, Kel.
Okay, great.
This
When are we
90s
going back to?
Well, we're going back to when Will Smith had less, when he was less about, open hand smacking someone for a harmless joke and more about getting jiggy with it. We're talking about early springtime, 1998.
Two.
Oh, good guess, but wrong. 1998, the Titanic had sunk once again on the big screen. And Celine Dion's massive hit, My Heart Will Go On, was still going on in the top 10. Spice Girls, Too Much, Kel. Adam,
yeah.
remember? It's right here. That's why you do
Yep.
remember. Too Much was on the rise on the charts. And Next, we're also on the rise. Perceivably Too Much, also with their overt jam, Too Close. We don't need to quote the lyrics. You know what they are. How about this one? I'll give you a little line. Do, 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 do.
I love this intro.
Exactly. This is a little riff that's been in our heads since 1998, thanks to Third Eye Blind. Semi-Charmed Life was making its statement around this time in 1998. How about Usher? Starting to get some speed on You Make Me Wanna. That was at number 31.
That was in 98.
Yeah.
Wow.
You Make Me Want to Leave the One I'm With, start a new relationship.
This is what
Maybe don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that, Usher. Stay there. And you know what? It wouldn't be long before Chumbawamba would become a name that everyone knew, even though it was a completely different story for their signature hit, the song that more often than not gets referred to as I Get Knocked Down. It's actually called Tub Thumping. But of course, you 90s fans knew that. That is your 90s rewind.
Thank you, Sharon.
Was
It's
excellent.
a pleasure.
Excelente, Sharon.
Oh, gracias, Kelly.
Yeah.
Gracias, Adam. Who
This was
hasn't
like
had
the
a nap?
This was like the supersized version
Yeah.
because we missed a week with Adam's illness.
His illness.
I'll take the blame.
Okay,
He's-
great.
It's COVID.
I like your shirt today, Adam. I always comment on your sweaters, and now this is a nice gray shirt with Burton, the
Nice.
snowboarding variety.
Yes, my nice Burton shirt.
If
You know what
Burton
I'm
would like
looking
to
forward to?
sponsor us, we're open to it.
Oh, yes, Burton. Hang 10. Uh,
Wrong sport, Sharon.
yeah, hang in there. How about that?
Yeah.
One? I am ready for winter to be over. It's officially spring for
Yep.
like 2 weeks now.
Not feeling like it.
Where we live, no. Mother Nature's still in a mood.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So thanks a lot.
I talked to a friend of mine the other day in Fort Lauderdale, Florida,
Nice.
and she's like, so like for her it was like 80 degrees. So our American friends will know what that means. But I was like, what? Like I was like because that's like what 20 or 21 for us here or something. And I'm like, I can only dream of that.
Oh God, yeah, brutal.
The last thing I will make note of is I don't know if you noticed this, but I feel like you have in the fall for us when it starts to get cold, if it's like 11 degrees or whatever, we're like, this is freezing. But like in April, we're like 11 degrees. Like,
Yeah, it's true.
I'm excited for it.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
Because it's not -19.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you guys, thanks for another fun show.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon.
And thanks everybody for finding us wherever it is that you do that. We appreciate it. Thanks for reaching out. Rachel.
It's
Rachel.
Oh, I know. Last thing. So Ginger Bear has passed, the one who has the hots for Adam.
Right.
I thought
Once
you were
has-
going to say Ginger Bear passed away. I was like, this.
No, Ginger Bear is great.
Okay.
Ginger Bear has let it be known that she is from, I'm assuming it's a she, we still have not figured this out yet, but from New Zealand.
Ooh.
And she has requested that Sharon do a Kiwi accent.
I needed more of a heads up than
So
that.
is that your homework for next week?
Yeah, I will do that for next
Okay.
week. Ginger
Okay.
Bear.
So I
Ginger
think so.
Bear,
We have
Ginger
Rachel in
Bear.
Australia,
Rachel.
and we
Right. It's a burner. That's all I know.
That's more than enough. She enjoys your burner. She said it. Anyways.
Oh, good. Coolio. Well, again, thank you guys. Wherever you are in the world, I will master your accents. And by master, I mean butcher. Thanks for playing along with us. And thanks for listening to 90s Now. Still happening.